Hello, in this next video from Financial Armageddon to Freedom, people have asked me to address what do I think will happen if the dollar collapses, if the euro collapses, or not even if they collapse, if massive inflation, not even hyperinflation, but if massive inflation sets in any global currency, mainly euro, the dollar, pound sterling, the yen. I actually think we're starting to see already the inklings of what's going to happen in the future. I think countries will put stricter capital controls, prevent their citizens from moving money out of the country, only because as more wealth leaves the country, it will become harder for the economy to recover. So the dictator nature or dictatorship nature of governments will come into, unfortunately, will assume a stronger role in government oversight of its nation's wealth. Of course, I think they will try to inflate that debt away, which basically means to devalue currencies, which you've seen because the EU's already printed trillions of created trillions of new euros. The U.S. has created trillions of new dollars. The Japanese have done likewise with the yen. So we're seeing that occur as well. Governments, since they don't have money and they need money to run the federal budget, of course they can just print new money, ask the central banks to print new money, but since all money is created as debt, then there's more interest to pay on the creation of that new money. And of course, if hyperinflation does set in, then that raises a possibility for revolt against their power in that country. So they want to delay hyperinflation as long as possible. So one way to do that, although obviously this isn't a popular choice either, but we're seeing already aspects of this happen, is to increase taxes across the board. So expect all your taxes to rise, whether it's in the form of income taxes, new taxes, carbon taxes, from global warming. I know I'm going to raise the ire of a lot of people, but I do not believe in the carbon-based global warming theory. That's entirely different from saying that global warming is not occurring, because certainly there are signs that it's occurring. But whenever I say I don't believe in the carbon-based global warming theory, all the environmentalists jump down my throat and say, hey, we have to do something about this. But if you look at the impetus behind the carbon-based global warming theory, there's a whole faction, thousands of scientists that disagree with that. And there are other very credible theories, such as increase in sunspot activity, but you can't tax the sun, right, for being responsible for increased warming. Even just natural cycles where warming has increased throughout history, throughout the meteorological weather patterns that have been recorded. So it could be just part of the natural cycle. It could be attributable to increased sunspot activity. But like I said, governments can't tax the sun. They can tax people, and so therefore to attribute it to carbon-based carbon emissions and carbon activity allows, again, banks to degrade the wealth of nations and to take money away from people. And I believe it's an absolutely false premise. If you look at the history of global warming, you can see that it actually originated with the Rothschild family, with the European banking cabal, and that this plan to propagate carbon-based global warming theory originated as early as 30 years ago. Before it was even the in thing, or became the trendy thing, or became a way for Al Gore to make hundreds of millions of dollars personally. So again, when we look at this topic, beware and be very wary of the reasons that are given to raise your taxes, because your wealth is being eroded tremendously, and it is bankers that are responsible for this crisis, and it is bankers that are running governments today. Simon Johnson, a former chief economist of the International Monetary Fund, wrote an article. You can see the link. The link here or here to that article, where basically he writes that it is bankers behind the scenes that now control all the major countries of the world, and not the prime ministers not the presidents, not the parliaments, not the congressmen. One proof of this, if you look at the U.S. political system for the past 20 years through Barack Obama, through George W. Bush, through Clinton, and through George Bush Sr., although ideologically, those presidents have vast differences and perhaps their foreign relations and other political arenas. If you look at the financial, their fiscal policy basically has remained constant through 20 years. There's been no change through actually 22 years in fiscal policy. So that's how you know that bankers control really the governments. And if you have people that reside at opposite ends of the ideological spectrum, but yet always cater to the same financial interests and their fiscal policies never change, that should give you a good clue as far as to who is truly running the system today. Okay, take care until next time.